Hi there, good evening and welcome to Tuesday Talk. So tonight we are going to take some dollar store planters and make them look really high-end by painting them. I'm going to share my screen a second and show you my inspiration. I've never shared my screen, so we're going to try it. First of all, let me get rid of this. Okay, and then share. Let's see if this works. Okay, let's see. I might lose you. I hope not. Application window. Oh boy. So maybe, well, if I do my entire screen, and then I go to my inbox. Okay, I hope you can see that. But this is one of the planters, and I kind of like that look. And then there's another one. I'm trying here. This one's actually of two, but we're just trying to get the idea here, if it ever loads. Come on. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, that one has little feet on it, but I really like the design on that. So anyway, those are the two that we're going to try to emulate or simulate, I guess. Okay. So let me know if that worked in the comments if you come on. If you weren't able to see it, just let me know because I have no idea if this stuff works if you don't tell me because I might not have done it right. So what I'm doing, let me show you the two pots that I have. This one you can see says it's $1. I think this one came from Dollar General. I left that in there so you could see it. And you kind of have an idea of the kind of pot that it is. I'm not quite done painting it yet, but I thought I'd start. So even though I showed you those, so that's what it looked like. And even though I showed you those designs, it's not going to work on this one because of the ribbing, but we're going to do something else. And these two are going to coordinate. Then the other pot is this great big one. And this one did come from the Dollar Tree. And there's no price tag on it because, well, we know everything from the Dollar Tree is $1. So you can see the difference in size on these. So I'm starting it out by giving it a base coat. And I would have started a little sooner, but it's been a long day. Had fun colonoscopy today, so yay. But what I did was I took silk mineral paint in conch, however you say it, but it's the pretty pink, and I'm turning it the wrong way. Okay, it's that color, and I mixed it with Dixie Belle's Seaspray. Okay, this is a texture additive, and it gives the paint some texture. Now I'm going to split the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'll hold this down under here so you can see. All right, I'm gonna try to get it real close. So you can see it's got a real textury surface. Now I'm saving this rim because I want to do something else with that. But so you can see this mixing here is really thick. I might end up adding some paint to it because it is super thick. But silk dries pretty quickly, and this texture additive also will make it dry quickly. So I did not bring down my hair dryer to help us along, but I think we're going to be okay. I think it's actually going to dry real nice and quick for us while I'm painting the other pot and painting some different sections of it. I am really just taking lumps of it because I mixed it so thick. This is the first time that I ever mixed Seaspray with silk. So I've done it many times with chalk mineral paint, but never with the all-in-one silk paint. So if you haven't tried silk yet, You might want to give it a try. And if you want to know what the difference is between regular silk paint, regular chalk paint and silk, silk is an all-in-one. It's got a sealer and a base coat all built in, okay? So if you can see the texture on that, that's a pretty good shot of that. And I'll show you also here. So it's got a good texture. It looks kind of like cement. That's kind of what we're going for. So I'm going to set that one aside a minute and get some on here. Now, this is pretty slick, so I maybe should have used some slick stick. I'm going to mix some more paint in here just to help me get it smoothed on more quickly. Slick stick, which I don't have with me, so we're going to have to suffer through without. But slick stick helps. We've used it before. It helps you to bond your paint to slick surfaces. So I'm just stirring this up here. That's a little bit better, a little less thick. I still want it really thick, but that's a little less thick. So it's going to take me a minute to paint this because I also don't have a big brush. So like I said, I was busy prepping the last couple of days and having my big test today. So that's why I'm not super duper prepared. I like the way this is going on. So we'll get this paint on here and then we'll talk a little bit more about the design. Meanwhile, speaking of design, I am premiering a new show. So if you will remember, I started doing an everyday show called You Learn Something New every day at 7 p.m. And you know what? I learned something new, that it was really a lot. It was a big job to do. So I kind of decided to quit doing it. If you may have noticed, if you were following along, that I sort of quit doing them. But I knew I wanted to do something else. So I'm doing, it's called And we're back. Okay, let me see if I can get this back on. And sorry about that. Like I said, happens every Thursday anymore. It's getting kind of old. Okay, let's see here now. Sorry, guys. All right, so, okay, we'll just pretend that that never happened, right? Okay. And I'm still painting because I had to fool around with the internet there, so I'm thinking this is gonna stick. I'm almost getting there. I'm getting halfway there anyway. I'm going ahead, even though I also have some of the gemstone mousse that I love to use. I have that with me because we're going to add some gold to it, but we're also going to use some silk and oyster for some designs as well. So I think they'll be cool looking. Not exactly like our inspiration, but it's just there for inspiration, not necessarily for us to copy 100%, right? So we're just kind of following a trend. These pots are very popular lately. It's kind of bohemian. Okay, I'm not going to take the time to do it tonight, but I think that it would look better and look less like a plastic pot if we paint a little bit on the inside. We might do that. What the heck? So tomorrow, I'm actually using this that I do tonight as part of my demo tomorrow. I'm going to film the Around the Alleghenies Money Talk series. And I'm also super excited because I edited the first episode of my new show. I think we were talking about that before we got disconnected. More about decor. That's the name of the show, and it's going to premiere on Thursday at 8 o'clock. So instead of having the everyday show that like I said, I learned that was a lot, that I'm going to do this. So there's 3 shows now. There's this one, Tuesday Talk, and then there's Step by Step on Saturdays at 4, and that's all the tutorials, and then the new show that's going to be every Thursday at 8 p.m. Okay, so if you can see what I'm doing, I'm just kind of going down inside this pot and painting this a little bit. Just so that when you have a plant in there, it won't look like, hey, she painted a plastic pot. And again, if you came back after watching the first part, then you'll know that we are using Dixie Belle Silk paint, and we added Seaspray to it. I'm using the color Conch, and I'm also going to use some oyster, and then I'm going to use some gemstone mousse in gold to accent it. And I did show you a picture earlier of our inspiration. I might just pull it up on my phone and show you that way, instead of fooling around with sharing the screen. So I also don't think I have this thing in the best position, so I'm going to move that over a little bit. Maybe we can see a little better. Okay, again, I did this super duper thick to simulate sort of a cement look. And I also was saying that I should have probably used Slick Stick which is a bonding primer when you're painting on slick surfaces, hence this flower pot. Okay, so we're going to add some design to it. So what I might do is just let this first coat dry. And you can see it sort of has a cement look to it. But then I might just put a coat of just the regular paint on. So we'll see. Okay, let's look at the other one again. Okay, and it is actually pretty dry. So I was planning on doing the gold at the top. I think I am going to go ahead and put some of this on it too, so that it also has the same texture. And again, so we're not looking like a plastic pot so much, but a cement one. So this is what's giving it the texture and the color. And in both of these cases, it's kind of, you know, like I said, I'm kind of skipping some steps, but no one knows unless you tell them. But this one sort of, you can see a little bit of the pot through it. But, you know, if you don't know it's not a cement planter, then you're not knowing that that's a plastic pot you're seeing through it, right? Okay. So I did that, and I'm going to do the same thing, just kind of go in the inside of the pot a little bit so that it doesn't look like, again, a plastic pot. Sometimes when you're doing these things, it's little details like this that keep it from looking like a DIY project. So my segment tomorrow is all about the patio and budget decor ideas. So I'll make sure that I let you know when that show airs. I'll have to make sure I check around because I'm being a little sloppy with the paint. So I have to remember that it is indeed paint. If I step on it, it's going to get in my carpet and my clothes and all that. Okay. So we're going to let that dry. So like I said, the part that I did earlier is pretty well dry. And this pot is drying pretty well too. I am going to go ahead and just go over and put a little bit more on some of these areas that I'm seeing the color of the pot through. I should probably let it dry a little because I'm pulling off more paint as I paint it. Again, should have used slick stick. And also, you know, I'm also not giving it a whole lot of time to dry because I'm always trying to do these things in a hurry so that we don't have it here all night long. Okay, I'm going to let it dry a few minutes because, like I said, I'm pulling off a little bit more than I want to. There you go. I'm going to show you those pictures on my phone. So here's the one flower pot that I kind of liked. This, I actually did a couple of them. So I'm going to show you this one. Trying to get the picture on large a little bit. There we go. This one's really cute. It's pink. Maybe I can show you here. Let's see better. I have that light on. It's pink, and then the bottom is kind of the ivory color with black polka dots. So that's something to consider because did bring something home to show you. I like this one too. It's like marble and gold. If I turn this away from the light, you can see it better. This StreamYard thing is always confusing. Okay, so see that? It's marble and gold. And then here's another marble and gold one. That one's pretty cool. And here's my favorite. I really like this one. You see that? Oh, yeah. Okay, so if we did this one, I'd have to do something for feet, make little feet for it because to really simulate it. So the other thing that I have, and I'm not sure where I put it. Oh, here. Okay, so I brought home the silk screen stencils from Dixie Belle. And this one is the mandala. There might be some mixed up, but I knew that there were a bunch with borders. And so that's what we're going to use is these borders to try to simulate these looks. Now, I've used some of these before, and I've kind of used them a lot. So these are to be used. They're reusable. They stick on the surface. You can use them about 10 times before they need replaced. And you can throw them away when they're done, but you can keep washing them in between uses. So this one, look at that. This one's in the one that's called Patterns. So you could actually do that polka dot one. That would be really cute. So trying to think of ways we could do this. I mean, I could go over the whole pot, but I didn't bring black home, so I'd have to do it in the gold. This might be an easy way to do some quick pattern on that big pot. So we'll keep that in mind. But since we can't really do a pattern on this guy, we're going to have to just take advantage of these ridges here. And this one will be an accent to the other one. So that's a definite decision. But the stenciling part's going to be coming up next. So since this one's a little bit drier than this one, gonna let that sit a minute. And we're gonna get our golden gemstone mousse out and start working with that. I'm gonna use the other end of this stick. You always wanna stir this. This stuff's real thick. There's 4 different colors of this. It comes in amber, which I love, and I've used a lot before, garnet, diamond, and the golden gem. This is the thickest of all of them. So you always want to stir it no matter which color you're using. It just changes the consistency of it completely. So what I'm thinking on this one is to use these little ridges and just put the gold paint in there. Now these brushes, I hope are a little bit stiffer and will probably do the job. Let's see here. I don't know whether you can hear that echo or not. It's kind of driving me a little crazy. Whenever the internet went out, I had to adjust, so I probably hit the volume back up on it. Okay, so we're just getting a stripe pattern on here. Just by using, but I want to get enough paint on here. This gemstone mousse, the golden gemstone mousse. Gemstone mousse and golden gem, I should say. Okay, I'm going to do a few of these and then let you see it. This goes pretty quickly. And I want to do the rim at the top as well. This is kind of a subtle design, I guess. Trying to hurry and go the whole way around here. holding you captive because I have to have this done tomorrow. So watching my internet signal. If it fades away, what I will do, as I always do, is to post my finished project on my Instagram page. So I also share it to the Facebook, but you'll find it on the Instagram page, which reminds me to tell you that I have a contest going. If you haven't already heard, you go to the Instagram page, which is La Vintage Decor, and you scroll down until you find one of the posts that has a whole bunch of products on it. It has $500 worth of products. We are giving that away when we get to 1,000 subscribers. And we are at we're almost at 615. So it's going relatively quickly. If you follow me, you know how it's going. And, sometimes that can go pretty quickly. If you saw Saturday's video, we did a magnolia using one of the new decoupage, or not decoupage, but transfers from Dixie Belle. We did a magnolia vanity, and it really turned out beautiful, if I do say so myself. We are getting there. We have about a third of it left. Shift gears and come over this way. Like I said, this is a really rustic look, I guess you could say. But, it's just very trendy right now to use this pink color. Also, terracotta is in. And, of course, gold is still very much in style and mixed together, the gold with the pink. One of my favorite YouTubers to watch is Lone Fox, if you've ever watched him. He does some cool stuff. Very on trend. Okay, so here's what we have so far. So I'm thinking that we need a border around the bottom and one around the top in the gold. That shouldn't take us too long to achieve. So I'm just going to start that. Oh yeah, that kind of sets it off. I don't know if you can see it in there. I think that looks pretty cool. I guess I will do the top, but I'm going to focus more around this band. Well, I'm tempted here, and I'm going to give in to temptation to use my finger, because I think that's going to go a lot quicker. This stuff's really kind of waxy in a way. The other stuff's more like thick paint, but I've still used it with my fingers. Sometimes I use paint with my fingers. It's no fun unless you can get in there and get dirty, right? Dixie Belle Paints are amazing. They don't smell. Like, I can use them in the house here and never have any sort of odors or anything that you need to worry about. 0 VOCs. Okay, I'm just going to go around this band at the top. I'm going to leave the inside pink, but I'm glad I painted it, though. This just kind of gives it a hand-painted look, I think. Okay. All right, so we have the top band done. And then I'm going to do along the bottom here. By the time we get that done, the other pot hopefully will be pretty dry and ready for us to put some gold on it, as well as do some stenciling. Yeah, that went a lot faster than the brush would have. Just want to get it kind of even. And I like the random look of it, but I kind of want it solid so that it represents that stripe or band around the bottom. Okay, what do you think? It's really hard to see in this lighting, I think. Try to make it brighter so you can see, and then sometimes it's too bright. So there we go. All right, so like I said, I will show you a picture on my Instagram page when we're all done. Okay, so this is still drying a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. I'm going to go ahead and do, while I have the moonshine out, I'm just going to go ahead and do the rim of this. This is really going to marry these two together. If you're going to do this, you want to get Dixie Belle's Slick Stick. Don't be like me and skip that step. I'm going to have to find some plants and put in this. See how thick that is? I knocked my container over and it didn't spill. So now some of the other ones would have. In the gemstone mousse line, they would have. Okay, so we have the rim of this one pretty well done. Okay, I have a paper towel here. I'm always walking around looking like Goldfinger. There is a little spot here that the paint came off of. I'm going to try to get a little bit more on there. I'm going to wait. Okay, so we'll keep that side to the back. So let me put my lid on this. And I'm going to get out my my oyster silk. Pretty color. It's just kind of like a grayish white. And I'm just going to use a brush here, an artist brush. And again, these are, they're sticky. So you can reposition them on over and over again, and then they're reusable. So I'm just going to take one and get started here on this border, and we'll be picking more. I'm going to have to grab that pair of scissors over there. So I'm just going to lay it down on here. And even if this one doesn't stick completely, because I don't think it's going to stick to this surface, we'll go ahead and hold it on there. Okay. So the difference between this and a regular stencil is that it has a little screen in there, just like you would silk screen a shirt. So that means that you're going to have less mess than you normally would have with a regular stencil. You don't have to worry about the paint bleeding through. Okay. In this case, we didn't get any paint hardly at all. I don't know whether it's the texture or whether it's this stencil that's kind of clogged. You can sort of see through it, so I'm going to try again. And just like pottery, it doesn't have to be perfect because it looks kind of like a faded thing. But I'm going to try a little harder to get this paint down in here. I'm using a little more paint. And I'm trying to brush in there a little bit better. So hopefully we'll have a little bit better result this time. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got a lot more. Okay. So we're going to keep going around the top of this pot. And you know, even though the other side, we might try to go back over that again, but even though we didn't get much there and we got a lot more on this side, that's kind of like inherent of this kind of pottery. It almost looks like some of it was worn off or sanded off. So we're not worrying about a perfect result. As I always say, no accidents, right? So we're just going to keep going. So I think one more ought to do it. When I say no accidents, I mean there are no accidents. We don't make mistakes. It's just part of our design plan, right? If we're working together, only we know that secret. Okay, I'm gonna just revolve it around here, and you can see that I didn't get it in some spots and I got it more in the other, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so remember, I'm gonna come back and clean this, but you always want to keep them on the backing after you clean them. That just keeps the sticky on them. So you wash them and then you dry them sticky side up. Okay, so I'm gonna pick another one. I'm actually gonna take, I have 2 in a row here, so we'll be able to cover a little bit more territory with this. And this is a brand new one, so we ought to be able to get a pretty good impression. So I'm gonna put this down. It's hard to get it even on this surface, so just kind of doing the best we can with that. It actually is probably easier to do it cut apart, but yeah, I think I might do that. I have scissors over here. Let me just grab them real quick. Oh, there's some right here. Okay, if you're popping on, feel free to say hi and where you're from, what you're doing this evening. Okay, so I just cut these apart, and now I have 2 stencils that are sticky. Okay, so this is still a wide one. So I'm just laying it on there. It's not really sticking real well just because of the shape of the pot and also the texture of it. Again, I'm trying to really work that paint in there in that little screen. Let's see what we got. Okay, we've got some on there. And we'll do another row here. Trying to be more careful not to run off the stencil. And if you're just tuning in, we're taking dollar store plastic pots and transforming them with Dixie Belle Silk, Seaspray, gemstone mousse in golden gem, and I can't talk and stencil at the same time, and the silk screen stencils from the Bells and Whistles line. And if we have some that looks like hit or miss, that's okay. So as we get down a little further, we're covering a little more territory with each row. Okay, so as you see, some of the areas are heavier and some of them are lighter. And I'm probably going to go back over this with some of the silk when it's completely dry. Maybe with texture, maybe not. Not really sure. I think I just want to get rid of any of the pot showing through. And I will remind you, use Slick Stick. I did not. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, I'm going to take this other narrow one. Going to do one more row like that. And then maybe we'll kind of look at that bigger pattern and see if there's anything we want to use to finish it out. We might do another row in the gemstone just to pull these two pots together, although the top of it has the gemstone mousse border. The shape of this pot would work better if it went straight down, but it's getting narrower as we go down, so it's kind of hard to keep that shape. Trying to keep the stencil on it. It's okay. It's kind of like definitely a messy look, but I kind of feel like that's what this pottery looks like. I love using these silk screen stencils. If you have ever used a product and you thought, and you only tried it once and you thought, I'm not sure about this, try it again, because this is one of those things I've learned to love, and my first experience wasn't great. So always give it another go. Okay, here's what we've got so far. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be going back and covering up some of this. But I still like the direction. Besides what you can see through, I still like the direction that we're going in. Okay, so let's look at some of these bigger patterns. And I think the one that would suit what we've used so far probably is this one. I'm kind of not into the polka dots with this. I don't know, maybe. What do you think? All right, went for the polka dots anyway. There's some other patterns there, but I think we'll give this a go. Okay, so this should be a lot easier. If you can see, we're just laying that down. Tempted to use the gold, but I think I'm just going to continue with the white, the oyster. You should be able to go with the shape of the pot a little bit better. Kind of cute. And another thing, you know, like I said, didn't dry real well. So here I am, I keep pulling up. So I am pulling paint off of it, but I am just trying to get it done, and I will definitely go back over it and make it look like it's all clay or cement. But again, I'm telling you, use the slick stick and save yourself this hassle. Also, let it dry between coats. I guess it really doesn't matter which way we put this pattern, because it's just polka dots. Just brushing over it isn't enough. You kind of have to really work it in the silk screen, especially after you've put paint through it once or twice. Okay. So that is what we've got. So we have our two pots, and they're definitely coordinated. And I don't think that they look like Dollar Tree pots at all anymore. And I'm going to, especially this guy, this one turned out really well. And then I'm going to keep working with this one and let it dry and touch up some of those spots that the pot is showing through, that the plastic's showing through. And I think they're going to be really cool. So I appreciate you joining me tonight for sure. And I will talk to you soon. I hope you join me Thursday night for the new show. And Saturday, always for step by step. And if you haven't subscribed, I appreciate it if you do. And like, comment, all helps my channel grow. You have a great night. Bye-bye.